Hey, hope you're doing well. So today I'm talking about the ULooper from XSonic Audio. This little guy is the world's first dedicated looper for digital amps. Originally, it was specifically designed for the Spark amp line. So the reason I have these two amps here, the Marshall Code and the Yamaha THRI, is because there's just been a firmware update allowing this to now work with these two amps. There's also an update coming in the near future for this to work with the Katana amp series. So why is this special and what makes it different to any other looper? Well, in amps like these two just here, they do not have an effects loop, which means the only way into the amp is into the input, which means that whatever you do to the amp is going to affect not only your guitar, but the loop that is going into the input. And this guy has USB on the top, which means this plugs in via USB into the back of the amp. So when you record, whatever you record into here, that tone is going to stay there, and you can play over top with a completely different tone. So for example, here is a Boss RC500. For the record, this is a great looper, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. However, as mentioned, this would only be able to go into the input of these amps. Let me show you what that's going to look like. So here I have the Boss RC500 on the floor, so I'm going into the looper, and the output there is going into the input of the amp, because that's the only way to get into it. So if I record quite simply, now when I change settings on the amp, what's recorded on the looper is obviously going to be affected by the amp. Because obviously the direct input is in the looper there now. It's like I'm still playing. So as you can see, that can get pretty frustrating pretty quickly. And by comparison, let's have a look now at how this works. You can see I've got the Marshall Code there on the floor. The ULooper is attached. Now I don't have a foot switch for the Marshall amp, so I'm going to get down there and adjust presets as I'm going. But you'll see how good this is. So to stop it, you need to double press, which is okay, that's all right. To clear that loop now, all I need to do is hold it for 2 seconds. It will play when I press, but then it will clear. Or when you stop, if you double press and hold, it will then clear. Let me just hold and clear. I went a bit early with the hand, but you get the point. So to loop quickly again, just to... So now if I adjust the volume on the looper, all the way down there obviously is nothing. You need to be careful there and obviously just set it to a level where it matches the output of the amp nicely. As you could hear there, the loop kept going. I changed presets on the amp and the sound in the loop stays as it was recorded, which is exactly what you want. Pretty cool, right? So this thing is not expensive. It's basically 150 Australian dollars, which is roughly 100 US dollars. Just so we are clear, it works with all of these Spark amps, all of these Yamaha THRI amps, and all of these Marshall Code amps. So not only these small desktop versions. And now here I have the Yamaha THRI. So interesting to note for this one, there are two outputs here on the Yamaha. There's a guitar and an audio. If you have audio turned down, then you don't hear the loop. I got a bit confused just then thinking, oh no, it's not working, and it was me. So it turns out guitar is guitar, audio is gonna be your looper. So again, the same thing applies as it did with the Marshall amp. You can loop whatever sound you want to into the ULooper, and then you can adjust the effects on the amp, and it's not going to affect the recorded loop. And then you can pile on over top. You can add some extra layers with different effects and different sounds, and then you can do some solos over top too. Bloody awesome. A cool extra feature on this is that it has a line out just there on the side. And what that little output does, it allows you to connect to an extra speaker. So normally you would have to connect the speaker to the headphone output on these amps, which then mutes the speaker on the little amp, because, you know, headphones, they're thinking you're going to do it at home with headphones on and not going to wake up the dog or baby or whoever's in the house. Meaning essentially you could have the little amp as a monitor for yourself and the bigger amp going out to blow people's faces off. Alternatively, you could just send a signal straight to front of house, meaning you could get your perfectly designed digital sound straight to front of house using your amp on stage, and it's going to sound great. In terms of looping, it's pretty straightforward. You press this, it begins to loop. You can overdub and you can record up to 180 minutes of looping time. Couple of options for power. You can either use your normal 9-volt or you can use 5-volt USB. And the knob there controls the volume of the loop. All the way down, no loop. Up, turns it up. Now there is one more input just there on the side that is currently inactive. In future, it will be available for foot switches or analog input connections, which I think means that this will eventually just act like a normal looper. You can plug in and loop straight into it. And your little LED light there, that's going to light up once it's on. It's going to show you the status of the loop. So I said that this has just had a firmware update. So where do we find that and how do we do it? It does come with cards in there, and the website is on said card. But if you quite simply just go to XSonic Audio, go to support ULooper. Right here, ULooper firmware upgrade. All you need to do there is download the updater for whatever device you use. Now I have already done mine, but you quite simply install the updater, open it up, and all you need to do there, hold the foot switch and connect the 5-volt USB port to your computer until the red LED lights up. Don't do what I did, connect it, and then try to hold it. Make sure you read things properly. Hold it and then connect to the USB, then it will work. Once it's connected, this button here will change color. Quite simply press it and it updated in less than a minute, and I had the new firmware. When connecting to the computer, the appropriate lead comes with it. This one goes into the pedal, that one goes into your computer. Easy. So how simple was it to connect to the amp? Mate, it was so easy. The only thing that doesn't come in the box is the lead to connect to the amp. But these two amps are a perfect example. These both use a different USB connection. The Yamaha uses this kind of USB, and the Marshall uses that kind of USB, which is stupid. I love Marshall, but that's stupid. All right, so firstly, connecting the Marshall code, I'm gonna use the 9-volt, plug it in. You'll see a nice little green flash as you plug that in. Make sure your amp is on and grab your USB lead. Obviously one end into the pedal and the stupid connection into the amp. As we connect, you'll see the LED has lit up blue. That means that the looper is ready to go. Then put it on the floor. When you start looping, press record, goes into red, meaning recording. Close it, we've gone back, the loop has closed, and it will flash, signifying the beginning of the loop. When you're ready to overdub, press that, it goes orange or yellow. Press it again and it closes. If you want to delete, double press and hold. The light will go back to blue, meaning that the loop has been cleared and we're ready to loop again. Connecting the Yamaha is just as easy. I've already got the 9-volt plugged in, I've got the amp turned on, this end into the pedal, and this end into the back of the amp. And there we go, it's blue, it's ready to go. It is just a simple one-track looper, but there are no complaints from me. The connection was easy. The audio quality was amazing. It preserved my loop 100%. Sounds great. So if you own a digital amp and you're looking for a looper, check out the ULooper from XSonic Audio. This was a really well thought out little looper. Thanks so much for watching. Stay tuned. See you next time.